And that is what Current Agenda this morning will focus on. We'll be right back.
That's the Opus has the record here. The professor became a zebra crossing. Also, make it your casting and Sana with you.
We have come similar Ben Shadan Piana Kamale, Melbukata, Numina Zaman Nutambo, Zanjanda Teliabram Simple. Now on this so.
Daga cikin muhimman rawa na azo a gani da Hausawa suka taka a cikin wannan ƙasa shine kafa zangonnai da suka zama gimshiki na cibiyoyin kasuwanci da fatauci. Ko shakka babu shi ke karfafa ingantacciyar tattalin arziki da kuma karfafa al'adun gargajiya.
Wanda ke abuna gobe ke biye hiyawa. Dem of fear market. Ko biya baweni ni awele ka buya uni sanagwe abagule. Ko vitamin A uni sanahagbe sani ahale.
Chichobarudo kokodi yakatoi. Enyaiba angauha na monachishipo iha chidodovania. Watan atwangao azunububuwe.
Sukuru no yako buke adwunu. No ma na sukuru no la bara. Otemu de bi ma donwane. Bawaya. Okay. Agreke more ngoko ne Bonujiman.
Adult education, showing from Monday to Saturday at 5 p.m. only on GTV.
Meet Kwame. He's not just any Kwame. He's Kwame the TV license legend. Kwame knows that by paying his TV license, he's supporting GBC, our public service broadcaster, and he's making a real difference. Kwame's contribution helps bring our communities closer together. Because of Kwame and others like him, we will all have access to amazing TV programs, educational content, plus broadcasting infrastructures are maintained and our culture is beautifully promoted. So GBC is asking all to respond to this civic obligation and pay your TV license fee. For individuals, it's 3 CDs per month or 36 CDs per year. If you have multiple sets, meaning 2 or more in your household, it's 60 CDs per year. For commercial institutions, it's your number of TV sets by 36 CDs per year, and you pay the invoiced amount directly to GBC. So let's all take a moment to appreciate Kwame, the TV license legend. Wherever you are, just dial *447 *333 hash and follow the prompt. It's your civic duty, so pay your TV license today. GBC, the authentic and trusted voice of Ghana.
Hi, this is GBC Client Service.
Hello, thank you for calling.
GBC provides you the platform to amplify your brand reach. When you advertise on our 7 TV channels
and 18 regional and district radio stations across the country,
please reach our sales department at sales@gbcghanaonline.com and telephone numbers 0303 959604 and 0303 959605.
Email care@gbcghanaonline.com and on telephone 605 and 030 39599606.
GBC, still the most authentic voice.
Welcome back, and thank you for tuning in and joining us this morning on Current Agenda. We are live on GTV and GBC 8, GTV Ghana and Ghana Broadcasting Corporation. And so please join us. Let's make this morning very interactive. Let's discuss the issues. Voice out your views, and then let's also be involved in the shaping of national discourse. Well, in studio with me this morning to discuss the topics. I have Musa Dankwa with me. Musa Dankwa is the Executive Director of Global Analytics. Global Info Analytics. Good morning, Musa Dankwa.
Good morning.
I hope you're doing well.
I'm doing very great, thank you.
Right. Later to join me would be Shamima Muslim. She's the Deputy Presidential Spokesperson. And then also Ishaq Ibrahim, a law lecturer at the UPSA and a member of the NPP Legal Directorate. They will join us later. And then also to join us on Zoom will be Dr. Eric Odrosai. He is a governance expert. And also Dr. Richard Amwakoba, a political scientist from the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. But with me now, Musa, let's zoom in straight to EP National Delegates Conference. Generally, I mean, being a statistician, what's the information being picked from the Grand General observation? What is the general population saying regards to this conference?
All right, thank you very much for having me, and good morning to you and your viewers. I think if you look at the conference, it's been well publicized, and people are looking forward to it. Discussions we've had with people on the ground suggest that people are quite excited about it, and we're hoping that by the end of the day it will be a very successful one for the MPP. It's much needed, especially after coming out of the election that they didn't win. So you need to really mobilize yourself and try and see how you can reorganize the party for the future. We need to have a very strong opposition, and I believe that MPP needs to be strong, and this may be the beginning of the process to make it stronger than it is now.
Well, I think about that is being considered. We'll touch on it just a few this morning, but of delegates on these amendments, these proposals, do they believe that this is what would bring the terrorism into, would position the party to come back as is expected?
They are very hopeful that it's a key process that needs to happen. If you look at the committee that recommended these changes, which stem from Michael Quay's committee report, I think they are very hopeful that it could give them a bit of a jolt in the arms, so they can really government and position to fight the 2020 general elections. I believe that they're able to do so and do so very united and together. It should lead to a stronger MPP than we've seen it.
Shamima joined us. Good morning, Shamima. How are you doing?
And I'm very well, and congratulations to GTV.
Thank you.
It's been a long, but we're happy that finally GVC has a current affairs show. So I'm happy to be joining you on this second episode.
Right, come from government. We are. Thank you also for making it.
Thank you.
It's been a busy week for you with the accountability series.
But Felix just won't allow.
Right. Ishaq.
Yes.
Good morning.
Be quite great.
For the MPP.
Very special day for the MPP.
Yes.
Yes, it is.
We've put you out, but we know even though you are here physically.
Yes.
In spirit, you are there.
Good morning to my sister here. Yes. I think we are meeting for the first time. Yes. For Mr. Dam. Yes, I know. And good morning to you all. And then, of course,
right.
And the good people of Ghana.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you. So I'll come back to you shortly. I'll give you a minute to settle in. So, Mr. Dankwa, so on the screen, there are, we've just teased out 4 of the proposals that we want to pay attention to this morning. And viewers, in between time, we would be focusing, or we would have live feed from the Legon Stadium where the conference will be underway, and we'll be sharing with you some live scenes and some communication from there. But from in studio, these 4 are the ones we want to focus our attention on this morning. And later, we'll speak to our NPP rep here, as this matters more to him than to the rest of us. Now, expand the base of the executives, delegates. The proposal is to increase the numbers for various schools of thought. Some think that if it's increased, the modification during primaries would be reduced, and then it would give more people the voice or the opportunity to be able to decide at the constituency level, at the national level, at the regional level, who should lead them. What's the feeling? What's the take on this? Do you think doing this would actually give the structure the strength that it needs?
Absolutely. I would have gone far beyond this level. Look, we need to expand democracy and make it more accessible to people who would have the final say in who we elect. It's a very, very good start to start from expanding the base. And the base is the ear of the political parties. Once the base is broader, whatever happens at the grassroots, you tend to hear it at the top. If you narrow that base, you don't get to hear dissenting opinions and views on issues, and that tends to hamper democracy. I was thinking, and this doesn't apply to just MPP, but across the political parties who elect people for us to vote on. Because you see, if the base is narrow, and that narrow group goes to elect people that many people don't agree with, it tends to give you a problem in the general election. So you try as much as possible to ensure that the base that will elect something for you or somebody to take you to the general election is very broad enough that you will be able to replicate the feeling of the general public among this group.
Right.
So it's a fair step. And I think we can go further. Maybe in the future, once this is experiment, we may see whether we should go beyond this level to include maybe card-bearing members who have duly paid their dues.
Right. Ishak, yes. What's informing this? Why does the MPP want to expand the base?
Well, I see, rightly I said earlier, you see, they said democracy is the government of the people, by the people, and for people. So what this simple means is that the grassroots is often, you want to make a decision or a policy, or if you decide this is our flag bearer, every MPP member should feel inclusive, that this is really our representatives. Look at the special college. It tells you, if you have special college in these days, it just tells you what kind of party is this. Is this for a special kind of people? The name special delegate doesn't even sound very well. So if we can do away with it, or perhaps just fuse them as part of the area coordinators, the electoral areas coordinators, and the police station executive, if everybody have an equal say, it kind of resonates. I remember having contested for a parliamentary primaries before. And after the primaries, those people who were not part of the police station executives who couldn't vote, they felt left out. They think, okay, other people, there were special people you come to see voting, you are asking everybody to come out. So people feel left out. So I believe as part of our reorganization for the first time, this is a very good attempt. And if we get this particular right, then campaigning will become much more easier because everybody will feel inclusive. Even though, as she said, I dream one day whereby we'll even do away with all this and just say all card-bearing members come out to vote. even though there are dangers over there, if you see how it is done in the United States, you see Democrats registering immediately and then moving to vote for this Republican.
Yes.
As a strategy.
Even in the
so
US.
we are so scared that we might do that, and then we have to be careful because we don't want NDC members to come and elect our parliamentary candidate for us. People they know they are the weakest link, they can easily defeat. So there are Trojan horses there, dangers over there. We have to be aware about. But I mean, the MPP had always been a political switch. Members come out to elect the flag bearer.
Right. But it's interesting you mentioned the special electoral college.
Yes.
MPP did not used to have that.
Yes.
There was a time that I think there were about 20 plus people who were contesting, if I remember correctly.
Yes, I remember.
President
it was quite
was
popular to be president of Ghana.
Yes. Then, I mean, the famous quote from Johnson Asiedu Kete at the time.
Yes.
Then from nowhere, MPP says, okay, we've thought through it. Yes. Now we want to have a special college who would go and whittle this number down.
Yes.
If there are more than 5 people who express interest, we'll whittle it down.
Yes, yes.
Then now the MPP comes back again. It will work. We are going back to it. It's going to work. It's one of the things being considered to be expunged from the constituency.
Constitution.
Sorry, the constitution. Is it the indication that we should be trial and error? Is it what is happening?
Is it a trial and error? As you rightly said, it was an attempt to weed out people who shouldn't be part of contesting for the presidency. But it's only a fool who doesn't change his mind.
Right.
I mean, if you try something, clearly it is not working. Of course, you have to do away with it. We cannot stick to it because we'll be accused of frequently changing our mind. No. I think we've tried it for some time now, and it doesn't work. And in fact, instead of actually marketing it properly, that only prefer people adopt.
Right.
So I think it is right for us to do it that way, and nobody should accuse it that way.
Right.
And as I said, it's only a fool that doesn't change their mind. If something is wrong, you can do away with it.
Right. Right. Charuma, I mean, somebody will ask, this is MPP. Let me be literal.
Waiting concern us with MPP delegates.
What does this got to do with party? What is your reaction to this restructuring MPP intends to do?
Right. So good morning to your viewers. Good morning to everyone who has joined us this morning. And congratulations. They've gone. I'm not sure the hurdles are over yet because, right up to as at yesterday, there were reports of injunctions being sought to stop the process from going on. I think what the parties must the challenge of running a consultative process. Obviously, this Congress is supposed to cure a certain problem which has had the elections, and what would look like an implosion within the party with the various scams and the various accusations and counter accusations. Political parties will go through these seasons. I think what is important is how they are able to rebuild and to rebuild. One of the major patriotic parties, delegates Congress or conference has not been consultative enough. You would see senior members or patriotic party. Yesterday I was listening to Arthur Kennedy. We've heard quite a number of them. The party hasn't even given itself a breathing room to really think through what cost them the December elections and what were the reasons for such a colossal defeat. And until you are able to figure out which balm would solve, will heal that particular wound. That's the conundrum that the NPP finds itself. Whether or not this conference will further divide the rank and file, or this conference would serve to, including the founder, the first, president.
Yes. For the party.
For the party, the former President John Agyekum Kufuor, who you could hear the pain in his voice when he spoke about being sidelined in public life and being a patriotic party from the wilderness, after they had been out, their tradition had been out of affairs of this country and the leadership of this country. He would have loved to think that he still has something to offer. The camp of party, why the rush to even hold, a primaries so quickly and putting in place these mechanisms, and the feeling that a number of hurdles to overcome. We wish them well, but as a party also, as an NDC tradition, looking back at the contribution of the social democratic philosophy. If you go back to even 1966 and you do a ideology that has had the majority that have been in the helm of affairs, it speaks to something. It speaks to the generality of the citizens' aspirations and where they find the most comfort, even with the liberals, like the New Patriotic Party, the liberal democratic philosophy. We believe in the right to allow the market to operate. Capitalism is really at the core of the philosophy, and we all do know that unbridled capitalism breeds a lot of disparities and inequalities within the system. So even they have cause to point out to social programs. So you would see that many capitalist states are always bending themselves over to point out to specific social programs to kind of like mitigate against the effects of the preaching of unbridled capitalism. So there are a lot of lessons that even the party NPP can learn from NDC. If you look the fact that the NDC tradition preceding PNDC coming to has had the longest reign, and the social values are values that many Ghanaians, can relate to and actually relate to. Musa Dankwa's research is showing that even within traditional communities that NDC didn't used to do well. You're seeing a reversal. The university campuses. I read some research you did, KNUST, how NDC is doing well in terms of, the numbers that are coming into the party. Aya was always well gone. We haven't had that seat before. Dumelo has managed to win university campuses. I think that it means the people of this country are leaning towards a certain tradition, and that tradition is a more socialist or more social that looks at the distribution of our collective resources more equitably. So even as you go into the conference, you must really look again at the philosophy that has brought the NPP on its knees in such a severe manner, and see how you can pick some leaves from the book of the NDC. Look, even something as the opportunity. That's why it's not. I think this is the time to do deep and sober election. The NDC has had it, and I keep saying that we still need to be able to watch out for the traps, so we don't set those similar traps for ourselves, because an election will come. Inherent in the logic of democracy is representation, and so I do agree that political parties must reflect, the representation of the mass of our citizens, and that also means the diversity of our society. So some group of people shouldn't say that a political party is predominantly an ethnic party with majority of a particular ethnic group. Political parties disabuse themselves of that kind of mindset and open up more to the representation or diversity of our society.
So I'll read through some other proposals that has been or is being laid to be considered this morning. I mean, we've already spoken about the expansion of Article 1319 from the Constitution, that is to abolish the special electoral college in the election of the party's presidential candidates. That's what we spoke about, that my brother Ishak explained the rationale. There is a proposal that all members of the National Council, the National Executive Committee, the Regional Executive Committee, the Constituency Executive Committee, electoral area coordinators, the polling station Executive Committee, the National Council of Elders, and national patrons of the party should be made part of the expanded electoral college. And so this is also one of the proposals. I'll come back to Musa Dankwa to throw more light on this. I understand that we have online on Zoom Dr. Eric Oduro-Osai joining us. I would also get his views on this third point. And also on the fourth one, we have the asking that the national directors who are NPP members. Yes, national directors who are NP members of parliament, past national officers, 15 delegates from every external branch, founding members who are signatories to the registration documents of the party at the Electoral Commission, one TESCON representative from each recognized tertiary institution, and all card-bearing ministers and deputy ministers, as well as all metropolitan, municipal, and district chief executive, and 3 representatives of each of the special organs of the party should also have the right to exercise their franchise in the election of a flag bearer. So this is a heavy proposal, like has been explained, to expand the number of people that take a decision as to who should lead the party. Dr. Eric Oduro-Osai has joined us online. Good morning, Doc.
Good morning, my brother. I hope you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear. I hope you can hear me too.
Yes, I can hear you. And good morning to my brother Musa Dankwa, Shamima, and my brother, and yourself in the studio.
Thank you, and thank you for accepting to join us this morning. Just to get your view on the NPP and the delegates conference this morning, the whole idea of expanding the base that takes a decision on who leads the party as a flag bearer.
Thank you very much. And let me greet our viewers and listeners once again this morning. I think that the NPP, looking at where they are coming from after the December elections, is clearly charting another course towards bouncing back in 2028. And you see, we are not in normal times. I think that if the NPP thinks that they are in normal times, then they will do a sad mistake. We are not in normal times. And once you've lost an elections like that, you have to strategize. And if you are not in normal times, you can only do abnormal things to get back to normal. NPP, we know, have done a review of their performance in the December elections. The reports, though, have not been published, but snipers of the reports points to the amendments they want to do this morning. And when you are looking at representative democracy, it is when people feel they are actually represented, when people feel they are part of the process, that they can give their full support. So I believe that they have learned from the past, they have learned their mistakes, and they think that this is the way to go. They are no more going to have a special delegates conference or a special group or electoral college to elect a flag bearer. You realize that most of the amendment they are proposing centers around giving the key actors of the party a say in the choice of their flag bearer, and also allowing them to feel represented. So I think that they have done their research and they think that that is the way to go. Elections are won by strategy, and political parties have their own strategies. They may not come out to tell you everything. If they come out to tell us they're rushing or what they are doing, they may have some up their sleeves. But I think whatever it is, from where I sit, they want to broaden the base and ensure that all the key stakeholders and organs of the party are duly represented when it comes to the election of a flag bearer. Just see how it goes. It may be their first step towards 2028, and there are others that can come in. And like Shamima said, in politics, we learn from each other. They have something to learn from the NDC. The NDC has something to learn from the NPP. At the end of the day, the political party with the superior strategy would win the race. And let's see how it goes. I think this is the beginning for NPP. NDC may have their own beginning as they walk into 2028. But all we can do is to wish them well, but allow representative democracy to play out so that every member of the party who feel their voice needed to be heard are actually represented or given a say when it comes to the choice of flag bearer. And it should not end at the flag bearer level. They should not do the sad mistake of thinking that you matter only when it comes to the flag bearer. Let them matter when it comes to all major decision makings as far as the party is concerned. Once you start doing that, gradually it will trickle down, and then you have to mobilize. Whereas at now, they've lost election, over 2 million votes, and they need to regroup, they need to reorganize, they need to re-strategize and bounce back in 2028. Remember, the NDC is also not sleeping. They would also want to take all the good bosses to retain power. So they have a Herculean task, but it is not something they cannot surmount.
Right. Thank you. So back in studio, Musa, I mean, you are the ears on the ground. You are the statistician. Doc rightly said, MPP this might be their strategy to wanting to bounce back. The feedback from the ground, I mean, like you mentioned, recently the party lost the election, a 2 million plus gap. Is this what would bring them back to where they are supposed to be, or where they think they are supposed to be? Expanding the base, asking for national directors, members of parliament, past national officers, delegates from external branch, all these proposals. Is this what really would bring them back to power?
It's a very difficult one at this point in time, but certainly it is a very good step. Right. You cannot reorganize without this kind of processes. It's absolutely very important. For me, what is interesting is the national executives and other people that are adding, they're not that much. The polling station level, where you have about 40,000 polling stations, times 2, if that's what they're going to be adding, that's much more valuable than the old MPs and MCs and so on and so forth. And that's where the ears of the party really, really is. Once that base is very strong and very solid and united, I think we'll be in a better place to fight the next election. My problem is, or my question is, when will these changes take effect? That's my problem. If it's not take effect after the flag bearer, then I think it will not have impact on 2028.
Right. Explain that.
Because you see, the thought and feeling of the current system, people who are kind of not happy now, if it doesn't happen now, it will not feed into the decision who agree way. If you start building from the bottom, then this guy say, okay, we have been empowered now. We will not take part in deciding who becomes the flag bearer. And for that matter, when the time comes, we can sit on the fence. If that doesn't on the fence.
Interesting.
So yeah, the timing, the sequencing is very important for them. The sequencing. If you approve these changes, when will it take effect? Will it take effect after you've elected the flag bearer? Question for them to answer.
Right. Do you have an answer to this question?
Yes, I have an answer. But before then, I'd just like to respond to what my sister said about whether MPP is actually rushing into, especially this particular conference. The answer is clearly no. You see, there's nothing that you would do as human beings or a group of people that people will not be, some people will not express their unhappiness about it. Even if you are the most beautiful person, the most beautiful woman, some people might say, I don't want to marry her because she's so beautiful. Other people will be interested in her. There's nothing you can do. Look, when we lost this election, I think I had the opportunity of meeting the flag bearer the next day. And then in our conversation, other people were trying to apportion blames. What was his answer? No, it's too early to blame anything. Let's relax. Why don't we conduct a research and come up with the reason why we've actually lost, instead of people apportioning blames? So we took our time, then we sent a team around across the country. They came up with it by that strategic reasons. The content of the whole report has not been released. I don't know the reason why, but I believe it's for good strategic reasons. It has not been released. But we know, as the writer said, what we are doing today is informed by that process. I think she mentioned President Kufuor, but I mean, nobody doubts that President people believe he's probably the best president in the Fourth Republic. So NPP members rightly love him. I don't think what he was saying he was sidelined. It's in reference to this particular conference. No. So that one, let's clear that particular part. Nevertheless, the party has formed a team to travel to London to engage with him. We are a listening party, and whoever expressed sentiment will do. After the injunction, I mean, you would have read that it was a fake injunction, because Shamsuddin is one of my good friends. He's also from my constituency. He denied it. He's not even aware of it. So you would have seen yesterday that it discontinued. There was no need to even go to court to fight it, even though as a member of the legal director, we were prepared to go to court. But the people who put it forward discontinued it. It was a fake one. Perhaps we know where it's coming from. Our opponents, who knows? Or somebody who is interested in the conference not being successful. Because I don't think...
Perhaps
well,
your opponents have no interest at all. You know the spirited,
yes. But
conversations.
You don't, as I said, nothing that you do, everybody will be happy. At the end of the day, you just have to carry the majority. As for what my very good friend Musa Dankwa said, that the reform should start from it should take effect if it has to have impact before 31st January election. Is that not your point? Yes, I hope it takes effect, but I believe our loss was not attributed so much to the way the presidential candidate was elected. Most of our say that the presidential election, the campaign is done mostly at the constituency level and the regional level. Presidential candidate does not go to the electoral areas. So most of this unhappiness that was expressed was parliamentary candidate, because those aspiring for parliamentary primaries, it is the electoral area. Go over there and gather 5 delegates from each polling station. The rest
of the constituencies that in most cases did better.
Well, not most cases. I don't. I've not taken a clear look. Perhaps he's been doing research in that area. But what I've seen from my part of the country, you can see, but I believe the parliamentary for the first December election. But I believe if for some reason we are not able to do it, I don't think it's that fatal as it seems to suggest.
Right.
Yes.
What is the reasoning behind the order? What is the reasoning behind
Well, you can say, as you said,
from everything we said, we keep saying that the base, the base. That's all we've been saying.
That's true.
Dr. Osei has said it.
Yes.
Musa has said it.
Yes.
Shamima has indicated how strengthening the base for them has gotten them seats that they never had for. Ayawaso West, Wogon, the students are now tilting towards that side. So the base. This is saying that let's do a top down. What is the rationale
for
behind
my
it?
sister Shamima? Don't worry so much about it. If we get it wrong, she's going to benefit. So it's actually for her benefit. Don't worry so much.
She's re-echoing what
I don't want you to get it wrong.
If we get it wrong,
strong democracies are built on strong parties.
Yes.
So your party must remain strong.
When your opponent is giving you advice, you have to be very careful about it.
The position is not strong. That would keep the government on its toes. So it is in their interest to get a strong opposition so that they will do better. So that they will continue to be in power. So not necessarily to get you to lose. But then back to the question.
But unfortunately, and contrary to you, I prefer the top-down approach. You can see before the outcome of my Quay report is made open, there have been several allegations, and some of these things they're just ridiculous. Like we began to tear down each other because of people who are interested. You see people pointing to religion. Are you saying that myself, who is a Muslim, Shamima, who is a Muslim, should never be given the opportunity to be a leader of this country, simple for the fact that your religion is a stumbling block? And as I even said, I don't believe religion plays so much role in Ghana. Ghana is not a Christian or a Muslim country. Even the constitutional writers say we're a secular country. I don't believe our everyday decisions are really guided by our religious principle. If it is, then Ghana will not be one of the corrupt countries. Because both Christianity and Islam frown upon what they call it corruption. But we are a corrupt country. I'm not saying it. The special prosecutor and all prosecuting authorities are saying it, that we are corrupt. So religion is being cited. People are talking about regional issues. So I believe that if we are not able to address, and the problem seems to be coming from the presidential race, if we don't resolve this issue very, very quickly and push it down to 2 years, 3 years, 1 year to the election, I believe that we are not able to do proper reconciliation before we vote.
Right.
So the reconciliation is very, very important for us. If we get out of the way on 31st, we're able to reconcile. Even the NDC, who did it almost time ahead, one of them was so angry that he left. You have to send people to try to reconcile.
Okay, but Musa is saying, Musa is saying that if all these reforms you are looking at doing, if I'm wrong, implement something after the leader has been chosen, these people that you intend to bring on board to be the larger base to decide on who leads them are actually not going to be the one to decide. The person to lead them would already have been decided. So what would be the impact on 2028? That's what he's saying.
But you see, I've already partially responded to what Musa was saying. I believe it will not be very fatal. And moreover, we don't know whether it will take effect or not. Decisions have not been made yet. So we are just postulating something on probabilities. So the decision has not been made yet.
I mean, life is on probability.
Yes. So,
but the appetite is very high.
But I just said the presidency, I hope the changes takes effect. But if it doesn't, I don't think it will be that fatal. There are some people who even oppose the reforms, that we should leave it the way it was. Some people, I mean, you can say at the injunction, the injunction is telling you that you are going to change something somebody doesn't like. And therefore, leave it the way it is.
No, but for the injunction, if the injunction is true, what the injunction seeks to say is that the constitution requires certain actions to be done before you do national. There should be.
No, I don't think it's in breach of any constitutional principle. No, NEC has the power to make a decision.
The merits or otherwise of the injunction might not necessarily to correct.
In fact, if there have been constitutional breaches, those people who are unhappy and they want to fake this injunction would have probably gone ahead clearly and said no. So provision of the MPP constitution breaches. If we were to do as you say, is winning guaranteed? I don't think so. It's still it's still an opinion he's saying. If we do exactly, let's assume we take Musa as our consultant and we follow nothing but his advice. It's winning.
I think that Ishaq is positing that the end should justify the means. But we know that in politics, the means is as important as the end that you seek. And to the extent that you are denying the base of the party that you are telling us you want to empower, the opportunity to decide whether or not they want the group of leaders who have failed them and brought about such a monumental, embarrassing defeat to the MPP, you are denying them the opportunity to decide whether they want this same group of people to be at the helm of any reorganizing, not only at the base, but significantly to be the ones that organize the processes towards the election of a flag bearer. When the same candidates are at play and the same issues are being regurgitated, concerns about attempts to unnecessarily influence the procedure to secure a certain procured outcome. So that is a very dangerous thing to do to yourself. Allow the grassroots, this base that you're speaking about, allow them to decide at the base which sets of leaders. Maybe they will decide that they are going to vote against all current executive, and elect new executive towards the final goal of the election of a flag bearer. But here you are proposing to them that trust this group of people who have breached your trust in terms of their inability to lead your party to victory. Trust them that they will do the best job towards organizing a flag bearer contest. Mind you, trust is not a noun. Trust is a verb. Trust is built upon actions, observable conduct, and a certain character that now proves that somebody has learned lessons. But when the conduct, the actions are all speaking to not having actually learned, so you're still preaching that you're listening, but you're still doing exactly what you want to do. This decision that you have taken, maybe today we'll test it, whether it is a majority decision. If you say you did a good job of consulting before arriving at these proposals, I think today's conference should be able to give the party a certain sense of what the base thinks. But you know, a bigger picture about the base. I think that moving forward for all political parties, we must be interested in not just the base, we must be interested in an informed base, an educated base, a literate base. Because I think the threat to our democracy is also how our base is not rising up to the occasion. And I'm not saying only I'm not inferring a lack of formal education. Do you get it? People don't have to be literate in terms of having had formal education to be informed. So what are political parties doing to educate their people about democracy, about representative democracy, about the issues that should inform decisions, so that we don't go and give a delegate 5,000 cedis for that person to sell their soul to you, even if they do not believe that you have the right set of policies and strategies to deliver, you know, development for them. That kind of education needs to go. And I think institutions like the NTCE must come up and, you know, on board and really educate the citizens. And whilst we are at it, of course, literacy is good, and we might want to ensure that our general populace is literate, that they've gone to school, they have basic education, because again, governance is easier when the people you govern understand why you're doing some of the things you do and why you need to do. Meanwhile, just a quick one, I would like to advise, I would like to advise the NPP to take a second look at their national their party anthem. You see, because political parties, you know, are a mobilizing vehicle. Please allow me to just listen to this. I'm not going to sing it. I don't know, but you know, to say a political party like the NPP, you know, that used to tell us that they are the elite of the elites. They are a party of distinguished statesmen. Come up. It had to take so long after the NDC. In fact, that was one of the inspirations NDC gave them. The NDC national anthem, party anthem, the NDC party school. You know, how many years has the NPP been in our democratic space? It has to take just this year for them to announce a party school. It's good that they are learning these lessons, but I think that they could do better than saying that we are the new patriotic party. The elephant is our winning symbol. We have won to save Ghana. Please, I think that this party anthem is not motivational.
When we come back, you would
if you compare it to the NDC.
A live feed from the conference. Our reporter Gifty AJ is live. So Gifty, can you hear me?
Yeah, Kojo. Good morning. Good
morning.
And welcome to the University of Ghana Sports Stadium. And this is where the National Delegate Conference of the New Patriotic Party is taking place. Obviously, this is another opportunity for the party to strategize into the future. And as I speak to you, we're currently at the entrance of the University of Ghana. Can see all of them trooping in here to be able to be part of this all-important program today. But quickly, let me go to some of the supporters and let's see how prepared they are for today's event and which regions, constituencies they are. Good morning. Good morning. What's your name? Which region, constituency?
My name is Mutia from Tamale.
Okay.
That's why Tamale Mutia Mbon. The governor to your delegates conference, man. You don't can still possible.
It's still possible. Thank you so much, my sister. Oh, hello, good morning. What's your name?
I'm from Wale in the northeast region of Ghana, within our party.
Specifically.
And to also energize, take the seat from NDC government.
So beyond the conference today, you think your party will be positioned in parliament?
Yes. If you could allow me to take this quote from Dr. J.B. Dankwa, he said, the party's policy is to liberate the energies of its people for the growth of a property-owning democracy. In this land, we right to life, freedom and justice as the principles to which the governance of the land should be dedicated in order specifically to enrich the life and property of Ghanaians. So we are of the view that after today's conference, the grassroots will be energized. Whoever harbors any feelings within themselves become happy. At the end of the day, we'll come together and wrestle power from the NDC government. For all you know, we never lost power. We gave out the power to NDC as a loan. And therefore, in 2028, we are coming back for the power. They should prepare for us.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much for your time. So you can see that the place is beginning to be charged up. We have quite a number of supporters and delegates here at the University of Ghana Sports Stadium. And the objective is one, to be able to take part of this national delegate conference of the party. I have another supporter here. Good morning, sir. Your name and expectations for today.
I'm Kojo Yabua from Trouble Constituency, Greater Accra.
Okay, expectations?
Now, as you have been saying it, they said rebuilding. And we have to rebuild the party to bring the trust back. You and I know it got to a time things were not out like how we were expecting. Now, we are rebuilding the party. So everybody should expect a new MPP with a new vision.
A new MPP with vision. Thank you so much for your time. Let me go to other supporters and speak to them. But in the meantime, I would want to carry you along so you have a view of what is happening here at the University of Ghana Sports Stadium. Good morning, my brother. What's your name? Constituency?
Yeah, good morning. My name is Isaac Donko.
Okay.
From Seria Konto.
Okay. In the western region?
In the western North region.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And it's been quite a journey for you.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah. Very hectic journey.
What are you hoping to achieve with today's conference? Your expectations?
Yeah, my expectation is for the party to have a unity in the party. We know last year election there was so many discrepancies. There wasn't a unity among the party. So today we want unity to prevail, so that all the parties will come together and we fight for the common goal.
Yeah. Party. Thank you so much, my brother. We are so grateful. And we're coming to you live from the University of Ghana Sports Stadium. And this is where the National Delegate Conference of the New Patriotic Party, NPP, is taking place. And we are speaking to some of the support and delegates, finding out their expectations for the day, because we've been told that.
Okay, so thank you, Gifty. We'll get back to you as and when we get interesting things feed to share. But back in studio, Shamima.
Yes. So
before we went, you were singing.
I was telling Ishaq that you see, this democracy is what we have opted to use as our vehicle of governance. Somehow, and lucky for Ghana, we have sustained it 33 years. For this fourth Republican Constitution, and we pray that we will stay at the fourth Republican, Constitution. What it means is that we shouldn't be waking up to hear reports from Sadankwa and Afrobarometer that there's an onslaught against democracy, and that in many countries across the region and even the world over, we are seeing retrogression and democratic gains are being eroded because of the weakening of these democratic systems that should be seen as strengthening rather than a weakening. Political parties are at the heart of this democracy, because many democracies run an electoral cycle. One party comes, another party goes. So the strength of our democracy is based on the strength of our political parties and our other electoral institutions, like the Electoral Commission, for example, like the judiciary, which is expected to deal very, swiftly with, election disputes, so that the trust in the system can retain. So political parties must be interested in strengthening themselves. And at the base of it is the philosophy, because we keep on saying that ideological debates are becoming blurred, and that right now many governments are more pragmatic than ideological. But you would agree with me that anything without an ideological foundation and philosophy would lend itself to the vagaries of the wind. It should be that when there is confusion, you go back to your source, you go back to your anchor. What is that anchor? And soft things like party anthems or pledges, no matter how insignificant you might think they are so very important. Because when you attend an NDC program and you have our cadres around, you have senior members around, and they play the NDC anthem, it's like a spirit descends into the room. No, I'm telling you with all seriousness. And when after you sing it, even with the most contested of issues, you are reminded of the thing that holds you together as a unit. For example, let's listen to the words of our anthem and compare it to the words of the NPP anthem. So we say that, arise, arise for Ghana, you ye patriots of the land, towards secure future, development our goal, from victory unto victory, the NDC shall lead a stable democracy, Ghana our strength in unity. Compared to we are the new patriotic party, we are the new patriotic party. The elephant is our winning symbol. We have won to save Ghana. You have just lost an election. And anytime you get to a platform, you are singing you have won to save Ghana.
I think now they will say we shall win to save Ghana.
So even that, you are just you are even yet to accept
so I think
this defeat.
Your
My
issue
point
is
is that they should a review of their party anthem.
Before I go to Dr. Sai online,
Isaac agrees with me. He agrees with me.
Okay.
In 2 minutes, then I'll go to Dr.
You can see my sister is singing the MPP anthem.
I'm actually surprised.
The spirit of the day has descended on her. But I think she's making a mountain out of a mole. You see, as you said, party ideology is not really emphasized in Ghana. When you were giving me the beginning, you were mentioning about the center left and then the center right. Just go out and do, most of them, well, this is a job for you. Go and this.
Guide everything you do.
It is for this reason that MPP has actually established an institute to train some of these our members.
For example, many years ago.
Let me come. Like you have always said, look, the ideology in Ghana, even the way we put our policies, is not clear cut. I've always said that MPP is a conservatism with compassion. This is why we had the free education and whatever. But if she is saying that we should change our anthem, which I believe is unnecessary, listen to the national anthem of Great Britain. God save the Queen. The whole country is left out. Because they believe that God, by saving the queen, will save the whole country.
There are more lyrics.
As you said, the anthem can be flexible. If you are in position, God save the king. I've just pointed to you elsewhere how an anthem can be very flexible. How anthems centered around even an individual. And then we explain to you that by saving the individual, you have to save the country to save the individual. Right. But let me point out something we didn't point out about the reform that we are bringing.
Okay.
In fact, it will actually help reduce corruption at the lower level. You see, we have been accused of buying both parties. There's no doubt about it. We have been accused about both parties. But if you expand the electoral base, it will be difficult for one person to bribe all these persons into making the wrong decision. So I believe at the end of the day, when the base is expanded, perhaps, as I said, I pray the day that we'll just say all party card holding in the members of the party come out and vote. But corruption is what I'm actually celebrating this. Right. It will reduce the corruption. Right. Because if we increase the number, you will not have the resources to bribe all of them.
So you believe they will not have the resources to bribe all of them?
I think so. Okay. I think so. Because perhaps what you would divide, what you give to them, the impact will not be so much that they feel loyal to vote for you. Right. You see that? So if it is maybe you were giving them 100 cities, if it is 50 cities, the impact of the will not be so I believe corruption, we should be celebrating today because of the way it will tackle corruption. Most do you disagree with that?
Before Musa comes in, I will go to Doc. Doc, so as a governance as a governance expert, I would want your view on this discussion about doing all these reforms either before the flag bearer election or after. If it's done after, is it not just validate the power at the top compared to doing it before and giving the people who deserve the vote an opportunity to choose somebody that they really believe would lead them right in 2028? Okay, Doc, I think you might have to unmute yourself. Hello, Doc, can you hear me? Right. Okay. Doc, can you hear me?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you, Doc.
All right, okay, thank you very much. Let me put my legal cap here. You see, once amendments are made, it does not take retrospective effect. It takes retroactive effect. So for now, what is on the table is the amendment. Let's see how it goes. Whether or not it will take effect before the election of flag bearer is another matter. Though they have announced the flag bearer election date, I don't think it is cast to stone. So let's leave that one open. But I think that whichever way we look at it, we should give them that benefit because they are in the soup, they are in the boat. They know what will take them to 2028. And unfortunately, they have published the Michael Koulis report. So we are handicapped as far as evidence data is concerned to support what they are doing. But I think that whatever they do, whichever amendment they do, they should make sure that the amendment will carry their base forward. The amendment will make sure that they are able to correct certain mistakes they made going into 2024. And like Shamima said, they should try as much as possible to carry the base. And isn't it nice to see a government in power or an alternative government singing the anthem of another political party? That is the beauty of Ghana's democracy. And I think that was lies. But my personal view is that they should allow this amendment to take retroactive effect. They can also look at the date they have already fixed to elect a flag bearer. Everything is they have everything within their power to get the cars well to bounce back. And it is all about strategy. And I know that they may not want to put all their strategies out there, but the strategy should be such that these amendments carry their base along, would allow people to have confidence in the leadership, would allow people to feel part of the process, would encourage them to come out massively to vote in 2028. Because if they don't feel part of the process, then it will also lead them into 2028 and it can affect the party.
Right.
So let us leave it to them.
Okay.
For now, what is on the table is the amendment. Let us clear the amendment, and then after that, they may want to consider the day for the election.
Just 30 seconds. Shamima is pushing me to ask you on. I mean, since you commented on her singing, she's pushing me to ask you your view on the words in the song. Does it position or does it give a post-train of complacency of the MPP if you take the lyrics of the song? I mean, just 30 seconds, so I move into...
Yes, I have not taken the trouble to look at the lyrics or the content of the anthems of the two political parties. But I think that from where our democracy is going, you need to even allow your base to understand your anthem. And that is where I would come from. If your base does not understand your anthem, political party, I will even advocate that you should be able to understand and sing the anthem of the political party.
Right.
They should make a conscious effort to help you understand it.
Thank you.
It's a very important issue.
I agree on this issue of anthems. I've been at different events where we have Ghanaians and Nigerians, and I feel sad sometimes when the Ghana national anthem is played, how Ghanaians casually walk around, but when the Nigerian national anthem is played, senators, everybody stands and is singing. There was a golf tournament we played between Ghana and Nigeria, and the senators, how they were singing. I mean, the Ghanaians, the ushers were just walking around. I had to go take the microphone and scream to tell them that this is the national anthem. Stand.
Yes.
And it looks strange to them that, what is it? But, and again, I understand the bit of the anthem. Maybe we'll talk about it later.
But I disagree with you. You know why? There was a study some years ago about national anthems.
Right.
That is why when you go to European countries, so many countries do not emphasize national anthem. Britain like this, where I had the opportunity to live very long. Primary school, they don't even learn the national anthem.
Yes, but the culture of the people is important.
No, let me explain to you. Sometimes, as you said, when they sing any national anthem, it's as if the spirits have descended on her. So when you awake people's sense of patriotism so much, it leads to wars. And that was why the Westphalian Treaty was signed. Yes. When people are so patriotic, they are prepared. No, it does.
Okay. Okay. So let me come into. Let's come on, Musa. I mean, not on the national.
It's part of it.
Yes.
You know.
But why you really need to strengthen our electoral process is deal with electoral violence.
Right. We'll come to that. We'll come to that. So, Musa, not to speak on this issue about. I think we would overflock this, but just to give you a last say on this, so we'll move to the next topic. From what you said earlier, the bit about when to do this and what will be the right time to do this. Do you think even on the proposal to have this election on 31st of January, does it reflect a consensus, or it's still some people at the top wanting to push an agenda and so have proposed a certain date and forcing everybody to do things in line with that date?
Look, I think none of the key contestants were expecting it.
Right.
You know, it is akin to what we call the wrong putting the position in the UK Parliament, where you call a snap election at the wrong time just to unsettle your opponent.
Yeah.
And I think you can read that into this kind of timing. It was so quick, and I mean, nobody was expecting that within, say, a year of losing the election, you will go to let it plan. There's a strong case for doing that early to resolve issues. But you see, I have spoken to a lot of people who are from the various camps. There is a growing unease about the sequencing of these reforms. Very growing unease. Now, if you don't get this right, the very people who you were trying to opposing to that decision. But if they get it wrong, believe me, the replication will go beyond 2028. You have to be very, very careful. And this is a party that is trying to really rebuild. And you must rebuild consensus. It's very important that, look, sometimes you could, if it requires you to delay that decision a bit, so that you can pass the ultimate decision, then that'll be very good. Another thing I want to talk about is the gate system is completely misaligned in terms of the general population structure of the country. I've just looked at data of the delegates and their profile. And now, if you look at Ghana population right now, those with junior high school are 18%. But MPP delegate, it is 31%. Right. Tertiary members who are MPP delegate, not much difference. Nationally, about 40% of people voters are have senior high school. MPP is 35%. Those without formal education, it is 11% across the country, but 17%. These imbalances, if you don't fix it, and I hope the expansion will kind of try to address some of these than the national. So this is the qualification that they hold.
Gentlemen, we'll come back briefly. We have the Director of Communications for the MPP, Richard Ahiagba. He is with our reporter, Gifty Ajay. So
thank you again. And we're still bringing you live pictures from the University of Ghana Sports Stadium here in Accra. And this is where the National Delegate Conference of the New Patriotic Party is taking place. And like you rightly said, we have the Director for Communication join us to give us updates in terms of activities for today. Hi, Mr. Richard. Good morning. And thank you for your time.
Pleasure.
Oh, okay. So it looks like delegates are beginning to arrive, and the initial plan was it start at 8 o'clock.
Yes. And we've always been careful to say that it's subject to the arrival of delegates, but we're sure that they'll be here in good time. I've seen a number of the buses arriving. Some of the challenges we're having is how they go through security, and so in about now another 40 minutes now, I think we'll have a full house to start.
What should be the expectations of viewers?
Well, the expectations that we'll leave here united, focused to rebuild our party together, focused on our values. I think that that's really the expectation out of this. And the fact that our constitution as well coming in today will not be the same.
Would you want to give us a quick rundown of activities for today?
Yeah, certainly. To conference normally is all about reports and decision making relative to the party. So the chairman would give a statement, give an overview of the party, where the party is, where the party is going. The general secretary will give further details of the things that have been done, proposed to be done, general reports of the past year. And then the treasurer will come in with statement of accounts. And decisions will be made based on the projections and plans made for the party in the ensuing year. And then any other matter, which in this case, the other matter will be the amendment proposals that will be put before conference, about 50 motions altogether to be considered. So that will be the order of activities today. And of course, speeches such as from our two former presidents, Nana Addo Dankwa and John Agye Kunkufo, our vice president will be speaking. And also we'll be having some fraternal messages from our brothers who are attempting to govern this country, but they set some very high expectations and violated all those expectations. So we expect that to be here in other political parties to join us, a demonstration that we are one people, first of all, and a celebration of our democracy. So that will be the other activities today.
I want you to touch on briefly security for the event.
Well, give me your verdict on it. I think that so far so good. Some of our people think that the police have been very strict, which is what we expected of them. Doing well so far, very cooperative. I think I give them about 90% so far. My verdict on them would be different if I was talking about Abdulrahmanov, but today they've been very exemplary. I urge them to continue that way. We have our own support staff, security, who is also here to support the police, but the police are taking the lead, and our guys are helping to make sure where there are loopholes, they help them block it. So security here has been very good, and I hope that it will remain this the rest of the day.
Thanks so much, Richard, for your time. Indeed, we are so grateful. And if you just joined us, you're watching GBC News, and we're bringing you live pictures from the University of Ghana Sports Stadium. And this is where the National Delegate Conference of the MPP is taking place. And as you can see, delegates are beginning to arrive. And although the plan we got initially was that it was going to begin early, but well, we can see quite a number of them coming to take their seats right here at the University of Ghana Sports Stadium. And outside, there's so much action. The people are so excited. The whole place is littered with the MPP colors. The white.
Okay, thank you very much, Gifty. I must say I admire your helmet. I don't know if it's a helmet you're wearing. Well, anyway, Musa, back to you. I mean, your last day, we can take a quick break. So you were giving us some statistics on the national. You've done the division according to, should I say, educational backgrounds, what the national voter population percentage is compared to what the MPP has in its delegate system. So you might just, maybe the next 2-3 minutes, you run us through it.
I think there has been an argument, of consensus that the MPP has lost the elite group of voters. We've seen that in recent polls. Quickly, only 27% of MPP general voters have a degree level of qualification. 27? Wow. It used to be 35 before. NDC is now 43%. Wow. So you can see that they've lost that elite group. Now, if you look at their delegate, it's even worse in terms of that number. Whereas 31% of Ghanaian votes have tertiary level qualifications. Delegates, about 17% have.
Okay, so what this means is that if you pick all people who vote, 31% go with tertiary level. And if you pick MPP delegates, you have only 17% of that representing the tertiary.
Absolutely.
Which is almost like, let's say, almost half of the national is what MPP. Okay.
Right. So when you are making these changes, this reform, your hope is that you would correct the imbalances within the structure.
What about the GHS comparison?
Now, with the GSS, nationally it's about 18%.
Okay.
Voters who have GSS level of qualification. 18 MPP delegate, that is 31%.
Wow. Where the MPP has lost in they complement in terms, so they have more of their delegates being GHS certificates.
Where you want them to be.
To what I mean, Ishak and Shamima said earlier, that if you need your base to understand your philosophy
and reflect.
Exactly.
Grassroots.
Okay.
So I think my hope is
that the uneducated.
But among delegates, about 17%.
So if you pick the non-educated and the GHS together, MPP technically has about 40% compared to the national of about 20-something%.
Yeah.
So almost half of the MPP delegates are either uneducated or junior high.
Wow. You need to get that balance right.
What is the source of this data?
That's the MPP delegates.
Right.
His propaganda was that the party was an elite, educated party.
No, but this is for
Apparently,
delegates.
but
Do you know
it's a reflection. It's a reflection. You know, statistics. It gives you a sneak peek into the border.
Yes. Right. Okay. Thank you very much.
Let me just quickly add, our tertiary education institutions network for NDC, they are doing a lot of mobilization. Handing over is happening across all campuses. So this is the best time to come and join the NDC. So let me know. This is not a corporate organization. It's a political group. We'll pay. But let me just say that to all the young people who are interested in politics, this is really the time to join the winning NDC. Them are there for you, and time to join the NDC as a find you. They are now saying that if you don't show years of experience in the party, tomorrow they'll give you an appointment. They'll say, when did you come?
Right.
So today is the time to go and join your TAIN card, work for the party towards 2028, and who knows, you might be the next Shagma
viewers
in 2020.
Okay, viewers, we'll be taking a quick break. After the break, we'll be looking at the OSP. This week we had the OSP arrest some NA executives, the former chief executive officer, and some other officers, and some companies are being accused of money laundering, extortion. What is all this thing about this mug shots? Is it right? Is it not right? We would look into this. We would have legal experts speak to it, and governance experts also speak to it. So we'll discuss this thoroughly after the break. Stay tuned.
Clean water and effective waste management are crucial, where well-designed roads and drainage systems are vital, and in a nation where innovation and technological progress are advancing. Then the question will be, where is Ghana positioned in her urban development? What efforts are stakeholders making to ensure that our urban cities are livable? Join me and the professionals as we delve into the root causes and examine practical solutions, raise awareness, drive change, and strive for a cleaner and safer environment that can impact our daily concern on GTV. This and every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Public Concern, the Urban Agenda.
Playing for your country, any easy. Scoring, any easy. Avoiding injuries, any easy. Winning, any easy. But you know the easy now? Kivo 4-in-1 Gary mix. I easy. It gets everything inside. Gary, creamer, sugar, roasted granules. Just add water and sharp my soakings make ready. Taste and energy, make easy. The match winner, but the real champion is Kivo 4-in-1 Gary mix. Champion taste.
This advert is FDA approved.
MedShay, natural mosquito repellent. Highly recommended by Ministry of Health, CHAS and GES. Lab test by Noguchi Medical. Field trialed by Atomic Energy Commission. It has no chemical or side effects and is good for all ages and skin type. MedShay is available nationwide. Contact us on 024489. This advert is approved by...
The road to greatness begins July 5th to July 26th. It's the 2024 Women's African Cup of Nations in Morocco. 12 nations matches, 1 crown. They are not just a team, they are a force. The Black Queens are rising. this time, they are coming for everything. Ghana's Warriors returns to the battlefield with power, pride and purpose. But giants stand in way. Nigeria, 11 times champions, South Africa, title holders, can be able to bring the crown home. Believe, back them. Watch them and all the matches live on GTV Sports Plus, the heartbeat of football. GTV Sports Plus, the legends live here.
'59 Global Convention promoting peace, brotherhood, and unity across the world. 1,000 people. Unique event from the 25th July 2025. On GTV. Today.
OSP has announced that it currently has or is pressing charges against the former chief executive officer of the NPA in the person of Mustafa Abdul Hamid, and also some other executives or leadership at the time, Jacob Kwamena Amua, who was in charge of the Unified Petroleum Pricing Fund. He was the coordinator at the NPA. The Unified Petroleum Pricing Fund was or is a unit at the NPA, and at the same time he is the managing director of 3 corporate entities: Propnest, Kel Logistics, and King's Energy. Then there is Wendy Newman, who also is or was a staff of the NPA Albert Ankra, a director at KEL Logistics Limited, Isaac Mensah, director at KEL Logistics Limited, Bright Bidiako Mensah, director at KEL Logistics, and Kings Energy Limited. Kweku Abuaji Akwa, also director at Kings Energy Limited. Now, what are the charges that the OSP is bringing? Okay, so yes, and then also some companies. Let's keep the companies on the screen. We have the charges also against Propness. So aside the individuals, we have charges against these companies: Propness Limited, KEL Logistics Limited, Kings. Can I have the screen for the various companies again, please? For the screen, yes. So Kings Energy Limited, and then the main offenses before we go into the charges is extortion and money laundering to the tune of 280 million Ghana cedis between 2022, that's the year 2022, and the year 2024. Sometimes when you hear these figures being thrown around nowadays, you feel money is easy to come by. Well, so the specific charges. Now the OSP charges that it stems from the investigations initiated by the OSP in late 2024 into alleged unlawful conduct involving the diversion of public funds and collusion with oil marketing and bulk distribution companies. OSP investigations revealed that between 2022 and December 2024, the first three accused persons acting under the color of their official duties allegedly orchestrated and operated a criminal extortion scheme through which they unlawfully collected 280 million Ghana cedis from petroleum transporters and oil marketing companies. Right. So this is a summary of the charges that have been brought against these individuals and the companies. Before I go to Dr. Osai online, I'll start with my brother Ishak. Considering that Mustafa Hamid is a party person, and definitely you would have a take on this. Now, Mustafa has denied these allegations or these charges, but what should be the legal standard in such high-profile prosecutions?
Well, obviously beyond reasonable doubt. I mean, that's the criminal standard. But before I come to that, let's try to talk about the importance of the office of the special prosecutor. You see, the office of the special prosecutor was one of the MPP strategies to really fight corruption. Because corruption, regardless of government, and even regardless of country, almost every country is trying to fight corruption. And if you look at the corruption index, African countries seem not to be doing very well. So when Akufo-Addo came to power, that was one of the strategies to create the office of the special prosecution. What is our verdict? Your guess is as good as mine. Everybody come to realize that even though the intention was very clear, but it has been a complete failure, in my opinion. You see, if you look at the act, the special prosecutor was given a lot of powers. He was rightly given those powers, which includes police powers, even the power to arrest and detain. You see, he's rightly given those powers because fighting corruption is a very difficult task. Right. Because sometimes you need to you really need to pin down both sides before you can easily achieve prosecution. So it is for this reason that people who are heading the office ought to be very careful the way they exercise those powers. Right. You can see that our first special prosecutor, which was the person of Martin Abido, I mean, my verdict was that his administration was a complete failure. And this particular gentleman took over. I'm not going to criticize so much, but look at the press conferences that he gives. He ought to realize that once you have those powers, Chapter 5 of the 1992 Constitution, you have to remember Chapter 5 of the 1992 Constitution is there. Individual liberty, freedoms, and rights. Because once somebody is accused of corruption or corruption-related or any criminal act, there is this general presumption in law that we say presumption of what? Innocence. Especially if you see the way he's drifting. The initial investigation, how did it start? It started that there was a diversion of public funds. From what, I mean, for charges we announced, the allegation of diversion of public funds is missing over there.
Right.
So why announce this thing before you can actually substantively uncover something? So now what the public thought was that these gentlemen have diverted public funds. But the charges of extortion and money laundering, does it have any bearing to that? So I believe the way he's rushing in doing things, and especially the mugshot. I mean, look at the mugshots.
Right.
It's alien our jurisprudence. I think this is an American style of really doing things. As you can see, our tradition is a common law tradition. Great Britain. Usually this, especially political exposed people, I think it is unnecessary. Because the trouble in they are clear by them. Their reputation is difficult to clear. A reputation somebody has spent years building.
Right.
And I think both parties would need to actually, this one shouldn't even politically divide us.
Okay, but on the mugshots,
yes.
You being a lawyer,
yes.
Can we look at the spirit behind what mugshots are intended to do? What is the reason why? You said that it's American, but there is a reason and a rationale behind it.
I think I've not seen a proper research on mugshot, but the reason behind mugshot is, for example, people to identify them and tell you where they are. Good. That's one good thing.
That's one good
Is there nobody who doesn't know Mustafa Hamid? Don't we know where he lives?
But we know Wendy Newman.
Hold on.
The other lady mentioned Wendy Newman. You know Mustafa Hamid.
Yes, I know Mustafa Hamid.
Wendy Newman, until her name was mentioned, would you have known her?
So are these people probably missing? Are we looking for them?
So that's what I'm saying, that should we not try to understand and the rationale behind mugshots?
And the way mugshots are done, they're actually done with your actual picture. They see you, they snap you, and you hold it. These ones are even computer generated.
Okay. Is there a prescription? Because the whole idea of mugshot is there should be the face of the person and the person holding his or her name.
Yes.
That's the prescription.
Yes.
It's
a form of identification.
Yes. The prescription does not say that the person has to be physically present.
But let me point it. Yes. So I was not actually talking about I wasn't entirely he's wrong to do that.
Okay.
But I was just saying that he ought to be aware about chapter 5 and the presumption of innocence in the criminal thing.
Yes.
And then should conduct the investigations and perhaps let's go through the court process in such a way that individuals who are accused of corruption, especially political exposed people, because people look at people who sell businesses. If you sell business, goodwill is often taking a higher chunk of the sales. So individual reputation is very, 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 very important. The way we conduct our investigations, and how we deal with the whole matter. And I am sure that the way he's rushing whole case, look at Cecilia's issues. What happened? With all the fanfare announcements, all to know that the court just threw the case out. So, while he should have the power to fight corruption as best as he can, and I understood that 2-3 days ago, he achieved his first conviction. He has to be very careful with individuals' rights. We should afford them all, and if they are truly by corruption, yes. So let's afford them the opportunity. And as you said, they have already come out to deny those allegations. And I hope that they will have the day in court where they will prove their innocence. And if they are truly innocent, the court system should work in such a way that they will be exonerated and sent home.
Right. Okay, so I'll go to Dr. Sai online. Doc, is the special prosecutor or is the Republic versus Sumaila Abdul Rahman and others? There is the Republic. This was somewhere. I think this year there is the Republic versus Ibrahim Sessa. There is the Republic versus Ajenim Boatin Eje and another. I think there's the Republic versus Issa Seidu and 3 others. There is the Republic versus Charles C.N. Obisu and 2 others. Safo Kantanka. And then now there is Mustafa Abdul Hamid and 9 others. Is the OSP Russian?
I don't have any evidence to suggest that he's Russian. You know, in criminal prosecutions, you have to be careful before you go to court, because the easiest work to be done is on the accused to go to court. You have to be double sure of the evidence you have, because if your evidence will not secure you prosecutions, you don't go. And like Ishaq is saying, if you go to court and you fail and the accused is discharged by the court, they have every right to take civil action against you as far as their reputation and other damages are concerned. So I would not say he's Russian, because I don't know the evidence he has to support. Advice is that we have to be very careful in going to court. And I also think we will say that on the flip side, the OSP is working for the Republic of Ghana. So if he doesn't also do his calculations well, and he goes to court, and the parties or the accuser, those accused are left off the hook by the court, there should be a way of citizens, because you don't go to court when you don't have a very good evidential basis to secure conviction. So I want to believe that on this occasion, the OSP has a very good evidential basis to do the prosecution to secure conviction. But as a lawyer, I know that the easiest work is on the accused, because they will just have to raise a reasonable doubt. And when they raise a reasonable doubt in the alleged, they will go scot-free. But I pray that the OSP has enough evidence. And I want to believe that he has. Looking at his stature, he should be able to prosecute to secure conviction. And that is the ultimate. If he's not going to get it, it's another matter. But the offenses are interesting: extortion, corruption and by a public officer, and all of that. These are offenses that requires high-level evidence to support the prosecution, and I want to believe that he has them.
Right. Thank you. Staying still with you on this issue about mugshot. With the growing concern that the populace continues to lose interest or think that governments are not being accountable enough, thinking that there is no transparency when those at the top are being tried. Does this not fill that gap to let the base or the people know that these people who we feel are untouchable are being touched? Does it not fill that gap of making the people who vote for us believe that transparency is being implemented, that people are being held accountable, rather than hiding their faces and just mentioning names and not knowing who or what is happening?
I don't think so. I think that you bring these things out when they are fugitive of justice. They can't be found. They can't be located to stand trial. But where you are able to arrest them and you grant them self-recognizance bail, or you grant them bail and they are available and they can stand trial. I don't think I am against that. I think that unless they are fugitive of justice, you should not come out with those things, and especially when you have publicly to do well what you are doing. People know them, and even if they don't know them, you arrested them and you granted them bail. So I think that on that score, we should be very careful in doing such publications. And if I'm the lawyer on the other side, they know how to advise their clients to secure or to protect their rights. I think it's something that we should discontinue unless we have clear-cut evidence to suggest that they are running away from trial, or they are fugitive of justice, or they've gone to court and the court has given that order that they should be looked for. Otherwise, I don't think it's very necessary in this regard, because citizens know what the OSP is doing. We are all interested in making sure that nobody misuses our money. We are all interested in making sure that state institutions works, but not when the accused is just an accused. These are allegations leveled against them. They are not guilty until proven so by a court of competent jurisdiction. So why do we go all out to do all these things? And then if it ends up that they are exonerated or they are discharged by the courts, then what happens? So I think we should be slow in going through these procedures. We should be slow in doing such publications, especially when we have put out there that we have initiated a prosecutorial process. I think it doesn't help, because you may not know how it will end. If they are discharged by the court, what will you say? And that opens another legal opportunity for the accused to come in. And when they win, it is the Republic of Ghana that pays. So I think we have to be very careful. There should be a balancing act to be able to ensure that we safeguard the integrity of these people until they are proven guilty by a court of competent jurisdiction.
Right. Thank you. So back to studio. Shima.
I think that I agree largely to the sentiment that Doctor has shared, and Ishaq has also mentioned at the bottom of every inquiry into a program should be rule of law and due process. And if we establish the principle, then we should be able to assess whether or not we're doing right by, the principles that guide such investigations. The office of the OSP in particular has had a very checkered history, as we all know, since its setup. And quite a lot of drama has come around that office.
Right.
So its original intendment, from what we were told by the then administration under the leadership of Nana Akufo-Addo, was to help deal with the corruption issue. And so perhaps an independent office of special prosecution would then be able to do independent work, to be able to investigate cases, that in and of itself they are able to decide they want to investigate, and they were cloaked with such prosecutorial powers as well. So we all hoped that it was a new chapter, because the anti-corruption agencies, international, rating agencies gave Ghana a very positive mark as a result of the establishment of that office. Right. But what did we see? Almost immediately, the first occupier of that office, Martin Amidu, had to resign, and very happened when he also wrote a letter, containing quite damning allegations of frustrations from the highest level in the then government in his attempt to fight corruption or investigate certain matters. If you recall, he even left a scathing, remark that lot of, I don't want to call it scandals, because he resigned, and then the new OSP was appointed by the former president as well. And not long after, he was singing similar dirges from the songs that Martin Amidu had sung. He had cause to believe that he was being frustrated in the ruling government. Then, he even alleged threats on his life. Okay, and so when you sometimes now hear members of the New Patriotic Party try to say that the OSP has been is being used as a witch hunt institution, then my question, which I had cause to ask, was that did they themselves, when they were in government, did they set which were about members of those administration, were those specific cases that the OSPs say they were receiving, backlash and frustration? So it would seem then that perhaps it was not the expectation of the previous administration that upon setting up of that office, members witch hunt institution. If you didn't set it up as a witch hunt institution, then you shouldn't make claims against the OSP today that he's engaged in witch hunt. I would also say that the OSP, in the discharge of his duties, must rise above all actions that might also give some sentiment that maybe he's also seeking maybe revenge, as he has been cautioned not to also use the platform to engage in actions that people might perceive to be revengeful actions, even though there is basis for it. Because in this particular matter, we are talking about 280 million Ghana cedis, and you've read what the charges are. Obviously, if there are questions to answer on the side of anyone, irrespective of which political divide you belong, they must answer those questions. What we must encourage and what we must see more of is that due process is being carried out. And that due process is also directed by the rule of law and the principle of fair hearing. So to that extent, I am also quite worried when I saw the mark shots with, the names of the suspects. Because again, we all know, non-liars alike, all of us know that nobody is guilty until proving otherwise by
it's actually
a law
a footnote
of competence.
on OSP website. There's a footnote there. When the mark shots are being displayed, it states the same thing there. So it's ironic, but yes.
So in that regard, I am more worried because I don't know for a fact that it is like it is these people who were there who held these cards. So if it is AI generated, as we are hearing,
I understand it's superimposed.
Then I don't know what would be the reasoning for that. To be fair, I mean, we are all public officers, and if our stewardship is under scrutiny, as by rights it should be, whether in office or out of office, you are here. His Excellency John Dramani Mohammed, Attorney General, has directed EOCO to investigate members of the NDC administration. So that kind of leadership is what we have expected from previous administrations, because when you do that, then you bring about trust in the system, that you do not use state institutions to what do you call it? You don't use state institutions to witch hunt political opponents, but you allow state institutions to do their job irrespective of which individual is concerned. So by all means, the Mustafa Hamid have questions of the issues. Money laundering, it's a big issue. If you have also abused your office, it's a big issue. If there is evidence to prove that indeed you didn't have a mandate to claim some funds, but you claim those funds, 280 million can solve a lot of problems. And those found to have done wrong must be made to face the full rigors of dictates. And so the only thing I am uncomfortable with, again, if the individuals have not jumped bail or they are absent and you're looking for them, is the publication of the images with a placard or a notification with their name on it. For that, I'm a bit uncomfortable with until I hear further particulars about why that course of action. It is the only thing that I am uncomfortable with. By all means, If you have questions to answer, we must take them through the due process to answer those questions.
Right, Isaac.
Yes.
So in your earlier submission, you said, and you were categorical.
Yeah.
You did not mince words, saying speak.
Yeah.
And you are disappointed in this one.
Well, yes.
Actually, I need you to confirm whether that's what you said before I ask my question.
Yeah. To some extent, I said the first one was a complete disappointment.
Disappointment.
But I said this one, he has also conducted, actually he has achieved one, understood 3 days ago, he achieved his first conviction.
Yes.
And the person, I'm not sure whether it's Charles Bissou, I've not read the report.
No, I don't think that Charles Bissou, anyway, I'll check.
Okay, but I just heard that he had a conviction.
Right. So I'm asking because both of these presidents of the Republic of Ghana, and I want to believe that that appointment was not done by himself. There was a bit of consultation.
Oh yeah. Actually, ultimately, the Attorney General is the one, according to the Act.
Good. So now, if two people, the first two occupants of this office, have been a disappointment,
yes,
and right after the MPP has left government, it's indications you would have checked the independence of the person before you appointed. Now you are crying witch hunting.
Yes.
Then what does that say about the appointing body?
So maybe that's other people cry. I have not actually cried witch hunting.
Okay.
Yes, I don't have any.
So what is the reason why you're saying?
Meant to work vigorously, and at least there would have been some conviction. There has not been any conviction. So that's what I mean by disappointment.
They receive.
But let me advance my point further. You see, when I said it seemed to be rushing, the way I explained it, but I think my colleague via Zoom didn't pick up that particular point.
That's what Dr. said.
I said, you see, when you look at the first announcement he made, money had been taken from MPA and sent to other areas. But look at how it has now concluded. So that I mean, the first, why don't you wait till you get enough evidence? When you say there has been diversion of public funds, and it turned out there is no diversion at all. In fact, now you're claiming that external people are affected, not even government. Because this with MPA, money was taken from them which they shouldn't have, or using public office for corruption purposes. So government funds is not even affected at all. It is members of the public. So why don't you wait till you reach a conclusion? So we don't even know whether he'll be shifting again. Before you know, he might shift to other charges and abandon this particular one. So my advice to him is that, because previously he understood he best changed this window within which to consult the court, he was sitting down there, he never went to court. Until he ran out, he ran out of time. So these are the sort of things that I said. So with this one, could you blame Akufo-Addo? Was he pressured by the administration not to go to court? Perhaps inefficiency on the part of the administration. But as I said, look, it's difficult helping. In fact, I've got very good friends who are prosecutors, and some of my mates are prosecutors. They will tell you the system, it's not just the system. Ghanaian culture doesn't want corruption to be fought. See, prosecutors try to prosecute people. You get a delegation from chiefs, especially chief from the place of the prosecutor. Chief from such places will send a delegation to come and talk to him. The individual is a subject of the stool or the skin of that area, or do his job as the constitution and the law demands. Sometimes you see delegation from imams, chiefs, or people who have influence on the individual. So it is hard. So sometimes the politicians are usually the most easier people we can blame, especially when you are in opposition. When you are in government, you are not in opposition. You become a punching bag for everybody with him. Nevertheless, we've given him resources and then those powers within the act for a purpose. So if he's not discharging those purposes, why keep the office for 7 years? Like Aminu said, he was stopped from acting. After 6 months, if you realize that the political leaders have no appetite to help you fight corruption, why stay there?
Right.
So when
I take on this from Dr. Osai. So, Doc, with what is happening, does this confirm or further strengthen the independence of the anti-corruption agencies in Ghana?
Much. That is a generic statement. But there are a number of anti-corruption agencies in Ghana, and I've just exited from one of the anti-corruption agencies. I think that Bak has all the scope to perform his functions. I have not witnessed the Attorney General entering a nolle prosequi in any of the cases that he's prosecuting. So for that, I would think that he has the space to operate with, because we should also understand that the OSP is performing some of the functions of the Attorney General, and he's prosecuted under the fiat of the Attorney General. So indeed, if the powers that be happening, so I can say he has the independence to perform his functions. Like my brother Ishaq indicated, I think he should reduce the peripheral statement he makes before preferring charges against the accused. Because when you make this peripheral statement, once these peripheral statements are made, people may think that those are the things you take statement, or the initial statement do not fit in or feature in the charges preferred against them. It means you've raised the hope of the nation unnecessarily. And let me also mention that since your platform is to educate and inform, this may not be conclusive by way of the charges. He has every right within the meaning of his law to prefer further charges or vary the prosecution litigation. So in all of this, let us do it in the context of the Constitution, respecting the right and dignity of the accused persons and knowing that they are innocent until proven guilty. But I can say by and large that the OSP has a lot of independence and the scope to operate, other than compared to other anti-corruption institutions.
This happens to be a developing story, so I'm sure within the course of the weekend, until, like Isaac said, conviction or otherwise is attained, it would be a story that would be following keenly to see where this ends. Next, we will look at another issue on chasing corruption. Shamima's boss, within the week during the accountability series, I think mentioned or spoke to on the issue of the National Cathedral. Let's listen to what Felix said with regards to the National Cathedral.
The Ministry of Works and Housing.
That's the next one we'll talk after this.
Of Ghana project violated Section 20, a fair schedule that is cutting these payments. Non-compliance with the law in the composition of the Procurement Committee. The audit report revealed that the National Cathedral of Ghana project violated Section 20 and the fair schedule is Category B of the Public Procurement Act 2023, Act 63, as amended by Act 114 in the establishment of its Procurement Committee. The committee, as instituted, failed to meet the legally mandated composition, including the absence of the key statutory members required by law. In addition, the roles of chairperson and secretary were improperly designated, contrary to the clear provisions of the Act. This non-compliance undermines the legitimacy of implementation of procurement decisions taken by the committee and raises serious questions about the integrity and legality of the procurement processes executed under its authority. Now, in view of the above, which rock the very foundation of the project and the work of the secretariats and raise serious questions about the use of public funds, President John Dramani Mahama has directed that the following steps be taken. 1. The National Cathedral Secretariat, which used to operate from here at the presidency, stands dissolved as of 1st May 2025. Now, the National Cathedral Ghana was registered as limited guarantee. In view of that, the Attorney General has been directed to take legal steps to ensure the dissolution of the Board of Trustees, and we expect that to be done in the coming days. The report has also revealed worrying administrative and financial irregularities surrounding nations, documentation, and internal governance at the National Cathedral Secretariat. A total of 38,233 Ghana cedis in mobile transactions remain unreconciled due to failed or unsuccessful transfers. These transactions could not be validated with any external party, casting significant doubts on the reliability of reported donation figures and the integrity of the donation management donations.
Right. So, Sharima, it's only fair that I come to you after your boss has spoken.
Right. So, as I said, it's been a very active day at the presidency. You would know that last week we started the accountability series, which is very dear to the heart of Excellency John Dramani Mahama, because again, in his 2024 manifesto, it was resetting Ghana for jobs, accountability, and shared prosperity. So accountability to him is not accounting only for the things that we have said. Accountability to him, it's also holding members of his own administration to from the code of conduct that was launched and which he continues to enforce. Accountability to him also means holding members of the previous administration to account for their stewardship. In fact, that accountability is expected from the people of Ghana. I recall anywhere we went during the the audience or the comes to power, people reiterated the oral program a lot. The Operation Recover or Loot. It means that across this nation, there is a deep expectation that some things didn't go very well in the previous administration. The corruption was seen in very stark reality, and people could feel it, they could see it, they could hear it. And yet, no matter how much they screamed horse for dead, that the previous administration was silence, and no action. So these actions that we are taking from January up to date are in line with the expectations from the mass of the citizens who gave His Excellency John Mahama that resounding mandate. In fact, if you read the sentiments across social media, even on seems to be in more of a hurry than what they think the government is doing. The public seems to expect that we must execute and exact accountability today. Whereas government is ensuring due process is followed, so that we don't breach any individuals. The cathedral project was one of such major scandalous projects. When reports came, in fact, what really broke the camel's back, because even up to the point where NDC was saying that there is little accountability on the National Cathedral project, we hadn't seen visuals. Until that parliament and the demonstrating individuals breached the perimeter and took photos. Until that time, we never really knew that all these years it was just a big hole that had now been occupied with rainwater and other, runoff water. Anywhere around the area of 58 million, Ghana cedis had been, in fact, dollars, I beg your pardon, $58 million had been spent. So you would, because people are contractors, people know, you would have expected to see some progress of work
you've mentioned
than what
money.
we had seen.
We from the investigation, Sir David Ajayi's firm was paid 15.7 million from the PPA clearance of a 5.8 million contract. Procurement was done via sole sourcing without proper justification, which goes against the Public Procurement Act, the Act 663. And then also, if you look at the breakdown that was given, there was 1.5 million USD towards mobilization. So that is the mobilization fee. 1.19 million. So 1,190,000 cedis was used for aftercare. So it's termed as use and aftercare fee. And 186,000 or 861,000 USD was some discrepancies in the mobilization payment that's technically unaccounted for in there. There is also 110,000 USD that was spent on fundraising trips. This fundraising trips technically by a group known as the Nehemiah Group did not really raise more than was spent to back on this trip. There are some reimbursed expenses of about 24,500 USD, and it's also outside the contractual scope. Now, when you pick accommodation, travel, media expenses unaccounted and were poorly documented. So expenses regards to accommodation, expenses regards to traveling, to media expenses, these were not properly documented or accounted for. For Sir David Ajayi and Associates, the total reported payments 117.9 million cedis, even though the official records shows that 113 million, which means there's a 4.9 million gap that the management response indicates that what Ajayi rather is saying is correct compared to what the official records of the committee is saying. Also, when you pick the rebate contract, it says that a total of 261.9 million. So in the contract, this is the amount that says it has been paid. However, the report from the presidency quotes a higher amount as 286 million. And so it also shows an additional discrepancy of almost about 21 or 22 million, which management response from that auditor's report is rather agreeing with the figure from the contract quote. Also, from the press, we understand that effective 1st May, the cathedral, the committee or the secretariat, which was working interestingly, at the same seat of government, has been dissolved or was dissolved on the 1st of May. And then there are legal processes because it's a company that has been, I think it's registered as limited by guarantee. And so they have been asked, the Attorney General has been asked to initiate processes to dissolve the board of trustees for this company. And then also they've been asked that the report from Deloitte should be published after the briefing so that, yes, so that everybody can have copies to also attest to what is being discussed. And like you have rightly said, it's been published, so it's in the public domain. My question is, beyond all this, I heard again that the president is asking for the Auditor General to conduct another audit. What again?
A forensic audit.
How different
So
would it be from what has been done before?
so a general audit, as the auditors will tell you, and they've explained technically, there's a distinctive difference between a general audit and a forensic audit. A forensic audit would then find liabilities and culpabilities and make recommendation on exactly what needs to be done. Mind you, this audit was also commissioned by the Board of Trustees themselves. The cathedral project was one of the issues that the oral team also reviewed and had presented its findings to the Attorney General, based on which the Attorney General himself was also conducting. So when this news came that there is an ongoing audit by the Deloitte, mentioned it to the nation that we were awaiting the findings from that audit report, based on which further actions will be taken. And so we all need to be on the same page as Ghanaians. Nobody is saying anybody is guilty of any crime until the investigations will prove. But everybody is concerned about the amount of money that has gone into this project, amounts including monies from the public purse that has gone into a private promise. For that, I think as a nation we must be. And I'm happy you have reiterated the issues and the questions that this project came up with. And as we speak, we had said reportedly that it was $58 million that had been sunk so far into the project. We find from the audit findings that there's an additional $39 million still owed contractors.
Making it almost $97
million for a whole. I think that there are questions. And if you look again, the questions are really about what is the total cost of the project. I think Isaac must be interested to know, as we are also interested to know. Why are there discrepancies in payments? The forensic audits should go into that. Why are different contracting agencies reporting various discrepancies from Sir David Ajayi and Associates to Rebadi JVA contract, and the discrepancy they quote to the Board of Trustees and what they reported to the Office of the President? Now, mind you, because this was a presidential promise to God, at the seat of the president in the previous administration was a secretariat. So that was the cathedral secretariat, which now since May stood dissolved. So there's no longer a National Cathedral Secretariat sitting at the office of the president pending the eventual outcome. There were also clear procurement breaches as identified in the care. Who was complicit in those breaches? Was there any criminal intent behind those breaches and what needs to be done to remediate those actions. Then they were very unclear. Very unclear. I think this is a very important matter, so that we don't play the usual political gimmick with this, exactly because of the nature of this project, which is supposed to worry all of us, because it's a God project. A God project cannot and should not be allowed to be embroiled in all of these kinds of issues. And so for the interest of the members of the Board of Trustees, for the interest of this government and His Excellency, we must, of the citizens, will all agree that this outcome was fair and just. Do you see it? So the other things we are asking the forensic audit to make clear is about the contractual roles. There seem to be overlapping roles, and people seem to have received multiple payments for taking, or is there a breach? We need to do that. And then general questionable expenditures. All of these things needs to be cleared. And it is the considered view of the President that the Auditor General going into a deep forensic audit, and we're not starting from zero. We're starting from all of these findings that are motive and intention. Going through this audit report, will come to a conclusion that no wrong has happened. Nobody fair-minded, everybody who is fair-minded, who would have questions. And I always say that don't listen to NDC or the NPP. Listen to all neutral voices that have weighed in on this matter, that have expelled these findings that have been made by the the audit company, an independent company.
One such neutral voice is Dr. Osai. Doc. So considering that you previously was the Director General at the Auditor General, Shamim, please try and let the viewers understand when Shamima says that what is being asked of the Auditor General is to do a forensic audit. How different would this be from this management audit or this financial statement audit or this audit report that was issued by Deloitte, considering that the committee represented as management? How different would this be?
Thank you very much. I think requesting for a full-scale forensic audit is different from, in all material terms, from what Deloitte did. Deloitte did financial audit and operational audit. And under our constitution, the president has every right to request for the Auditor General. That being said, let me say that the legal status of the National Cathedral itself is a problem. We don't know whether the National Cathedral is a public institution or a private institution. We have been told that it was registered as a company limited by guarantee. And if it is registered as a company limited by guarantee, then what it means is that the Companies Act governs its operations. But I also noticed somewhere in the management letter issued by the auditors that they have breached the Public Procurement Act. And for an institution to breach the Public Procurement Act, they have put them in the public sector realms. And if the institution is operating within the public sector realm, then the Public Financial Management Act comes in. So the controversy surrounding the exact legal status of the National Cathedral is the number one hill to clear. Let me also mention that so far, I've heard a lot of people talking about the management letter. And in audit, there are two things. We have the management letter, or what we call letter of weaknesses, which is issued by an auditor in the course or after conducting an audit. And this letter of weakness or management letter gives you internal control weaknesses within the system and gives you recommendations as to how to resolve them. What I see being serialized in the media is the management letter. There is also the actual auditor's report on the financial statement, on which the auditor is expected to express an independent professional opinion on the operations of the National Cathedral. I have seen that financial audit report, and what I have seen is that the Deloitte audited from 2020, 2021, 2022 to 2023 and expressed opinions on each year's financial statement. In the 2020 financial statement, Deloitte indicated that the financial statement shows a true and fair view of the operations of the National Cathedral. What it means is that for their 2020 operations, Deloitte has given them a clean bill of health. Even though in the management letter, there may be some weaknesses identified in that particular management letter. But looking at the 2021, 2022, 2023 financial statements, the Deloitte expressed a disclaimer opinion. What it means is that they are unable to express opinion on those 3 years financial statement because they need further and better particulars and additional evidence to support certain issues they've raised before they will be able to express an opinion on that. Be it as it may, it means there are loose ends that needs to be tightened, apart from looking at the lack of clarity on their legal status. Now we are being told that the president has directed that the board of trustees of the National Cathedral be dissolved effective May. Deloitte audits ended in 2023. What it means is that we have an unaccounted audit period from 2024 and part of 2025 up until the date of dissolution of the board of trustees. This unaccounted period needed to be accounted for. So the president is right within the meaning of the law in ordering for forensic audit, which calls for a comprehensive review of both financial, operational, and other aspects of the National Cathedral's operations. But my position is, going forward, we should be able to properly clarify the status of the National Cathedral. If we want the National Cathedral to be run as a company limited by guarantee under the Companies Act, we should say so and allow them to work along the corporate governance standards under the Companies Act. If you want them to operate like another public institution, we should say so that we know that they are operating within the corporate governance regimes of the public sector and the Public Financial Management Act. As it is now, everything has been commingled. And you see in the management letter, Deloitte saying that they have flouted the Public Procurement Act, when in fact it was registered as a company limited by guarantee, which requires that their operations should be regulated by the Companies Act. So we have created a problem for ourselves, but I think it is time for us to apply the brakes, do the reviews, make sure we have a nice consolidated report on it. Then we can move on. Also allow Deloitte to complete their audit by obtaining the relevant information to express opinion on the remaining 3 financial statements, and then also follow through to complete the audit up to 2025. Then we can have Auditor General also doing the forensics. When we put the two together, it will give us the way forward as far as the National Cathedral operations are concerned, because it's a and we may use that one as a basis to streamline procedures, get them to run on a good internal control system, so that the average Ghanaian will not think that we have lost some money. But I think as at now, there are lots of loose ends to be tied. We should put the audit report out there. What is out there is the management letter, and it doesn't have any financial audit report on which Deloitte expressed their opinion is not out there. We need the true document. I have the true document, and I tell you that there are a lot of inconsistencies and there are a lot of loose ends. But the president is right within the constitution to get the Auditor General to undertake forensic audit so that he will have a fair idea of what is happening to enable him to take decisions on the way forward.
Isaac, I have a bit of difficulty now, which you are expensing or you're expending for a project. You have given Sir Ajayi the amount of fee. What is accounting for these discrepancies? How much I received and how much you paid to me should not have discrepancies. We are seeing, I have had also the opportunity of seeing the management report and then the financial statement audit report, and there are too many discrepancies.
This question was put to the right people because I have not actually seen the reports. But before I would deal with your question, let me deal with the preliminary comments. This is my personal opinion, member of the previous administration. I'm such a person who believes that we need to devoid government and religion completely to either Islam, Christianity. Government should not have business in building a mosque, a synagogue, a Confucianist temple, a Christian, whatever. So when they were building it, I had those reservations and I often expressed them. But my understanding was that even though religion, it was tied to religion, but it had the capacity of bringing some foreign exchange to the country.
In the form of tourism.
People will come in the form of tourism. Objection.
Right.
But and that's why the constitution is very clear. Ghana is a secular country. Religion tend to divide many people, and we are very lucky in Ghana that religion haven't done such a thing. So having said that, yes, we've heard about the discrepancy on the forensic audit. I think should be given the opportunity to answer. We might say there are discrepancies. I don't have the right answers to give you as to why those differences, because I wasn't part of those who had incurred those expenditures. So I believe if the forensic audit and there's a need to contact them, either they have concluded that there need to be some charges against them, or they simply want them to come. A gentleman call, sure the people will be willing to come forward. As I'm not sure whether my sister said it. At the end of the day, if it was service to God, God wouldn't want corruption to be attached to it as a form of service to God. So if those people doing it, and if that was their guiding principles, I hope they will be able to explain whatever happened. So I think it's actually very endless. Those who need to provide the answers, they are not here.
Right. Thank you. So we'll be taking a quick break, but I believe every Ghanaian, as much as it's our taxes that have been invested into this, whether you are NPP or you are NDC or you are CPP or you PNC or whatever party you belong to, you should have an interest. Right? And the forensic audit also should go on, so that we'll come to the bottom of this and know how our money has been used. If there are discrepancies, who has that money? That money has to be recovered. When we return from the break, we'll be looking at the president declaring Galamsey emergency and also task figures on their involvement in Galamsey. We'll be right back.
Yabgam simyala ben shden piarna kamale karmel bukata namna zamanu tambo zan jandatul yabgam simpo na wanda so
daga cikin muhimman rawa na azo a gani da Hausawa suka taka a cikin wannan ƙasa ta wuce ko shakka babu shi ke karfafa ingantacciyar tattalin arziki da kuma karfafa al'adun gargajiya.
Aguna gobe ka biye hiyawa. Fiyawa ko biya baweni ni awele ka buri ya uni sana gbe abagbe. Ko vitamin A uni sana hagbeke sani ahale.
Chicho barudo ko ya katoi. Enyai
sukuu no ma yako buke adwun. No ma na sukuu no ba o te mu de bi ma do wane ba wa ya. Agreke more ngoko na ebonijiman ema ya lo yade no wane.
Adult education, showing from Monday to Saturday at 5 p.m. only on GTV.
This is a national emergency. The National Task Force will continue its efforts. Our forests, rivers, and girls are national treasures. I must be honest, this is a national emergency. The National Task Force will continue its efforts to halt illegal mining in our forest reserves and on our water bodies. I've also noted the activities of illegal anti-galamsey task forces that go around extorting money from legitimate small-scale mining companies. I've requested that the authorities arrest and prosecute any individuals involved in this illegal anti-galamsey activity.
So, Shamima, we'll just do a minute on this each. We are far behind time. The president has declared an galamsey emergency. And I think at the same
declaration. So I'm saying that it has always been an emergency situation. Yes,
he has rehashed
because look, from day one, our cabinet meetings, galamsey is like top on the agenda.
Right.
And it was one of the first decisions he took by forming his putting together a committee even before the various ministers came into.
Okay, so let's look at the letter that the Attorney General directed to the Executive Director of the Economic and Organized Crime Office. It says that, dear Executive Director, directive to investigate allegations of illegal mining activities by named individuals. I write to direct your esteemed office to initiate investigations into suspected illegal mining activities being perpetrated by certain individuals within districts in the country. This directive is born out of growing public concern corroborated by media reports and intelligence regarding the involvement of some citizens in unauthorized mining operations, generally called galamsey, that are in blatant contravention of the provisions of the Minerals and Mining Act 2006. That's the Act 703. As amended by Act 995. These activities not only flout out mining regulation, but also gravely endanger our water bodies, forest reserves, and local livelihood. As your office is aware, I'll skip that line and go to the line. I am directing your office to invite the following persons named in recent credible reports for interrogation, namely Mr. Yakubu Abanga and Mr. Joseph Yamin. Additionally, you are to investigate any other persons found to be complicit in these unlawful mining activities. The scope of this investigation should include the matters highlighted in the Prof. Frimpong Boateng's report on illegal mining, and we'll look at a section of that report. Furthermore, considering the regulatory oversight rule of the Minerals Commission, you may invite the Chief Executive Officer of the Commission to assist in the investigation. I trust that YOCO will treat this matter with the urgency and gravity it deserves in order to uphold the rule of law and ensure the integrity of our extractive governance framework. Now, can we look at the page 12 and 13 of the report by Professor Frimpong Boateng? So on page 12 and 13, a summary from that page. Throughout our struggle with illegalities in the small-scale mining sector, what baffled me was the total disregard of the president's commitment to protecting the environment. I can state without any equivocation that many party officials from national to the unit committee level had their friends, PAs, agents, relatives, financiers or relatives engaged in illegal mining. Most of them engage Chinese working for them. I am not referring to party people who had a legitimate concession and were mining sustainably as they were instructed to do. There are appointees in the Jubilee House, and this is where it's highlighting for me. There are appointees in the Jubilee House that are doing or supporting illegal mining or interfering with the fight against the menace. Examples are Lord Comey, who was the director of operations, I think, for the MPP, Charles Niteko, who was also a presidential staffer, and Frank Asiedu Bekwin Potosia, who also was a presidential staffer. Now, considering that, and this, I'm coming to you, Isaac, okay. Considering that the president has instructed that the investigation by YOCO should not only focus on Yamin and then I think Abanga, it should take into consideration that report, which means the people mentioned in this report would also be interrogated.
Yes. Yes, I think, you see, I've said it in other platforms that when it comes to Galamsey, that's why what the president said. I'm of the view that the NDC government is only interested in fighting Galamsey or illegal mining.
Even with what is happening?
Yes.
They are national organizer. I mean, it's your national.
Explain. Give me opportunity to explain. You see, when you look at October, I think it was October, November, when organized labor met with the then president, was the fact that the environment was really being destroyed, especially mining in forest reserves. And one of their demands, their key demands, was that you have to repeal the regulation in mining in forest reserves. That it should be repealed. The president finally succumbed to their demand and said that when Parliament had the opportunity, I'm going to suspend it. No, Parliament never returned the way it ought to have returned, so it never took place. But so they then call off their strike. The NDCs were calling on organized labor that you have been conned by the government. They are not going to repeat it. Continue with your strike. That was the call they were made to them. And when you had the opportunity to take over, it is environmental. It's something as serious as this, and you were now given the opportunity to form government. The first argument that done was repeal money in the forest reserve. What have we seen?
Confusion. They are not going to do it. They are going to do it. They are not going to do it. They are going to do it. That's one first area that you can point to the fact that of illegal mining. They were going to deport him. In other words, they are not interested in prosecuting even foreigners who are destroying our environment. They were interested in shipping them to foreign countries who have no interest in prosecuting them. Apparently, the Chinese will prosecute them when they get home. Who did that? You ship them else. I'm talking about priority. One of the reasons why we lost power was the fact that they said we're not interested in protecting the environment. So you can no longer make reference to the past. They campaign on recent and Ghanaians take power. People of Ghana. These two examples point to the so you can see how they so they have accused administration executives and their party executive of engaging in Galamsey. Look at how conveniently they have done it. They have tied their issue to the previous. But why are they not disassociating them? They could have done.
Anybody who has been named or fingered should be investigated. Whether MPP, NDC, CPP. Okay. Once you are named.
I hope the president is taking the environment seriously. Either previous government or whatever time, I believe the environment is very, very important. And we ought to take as a people.
Okay, so I'll speak to Dr. Osai, then Shamima, I'll give you Dr. Osai. On this issue, what's your take? Is this the right call? Is government on the right path, prosecuting its own people? Or is it the case that people to be able to draw in those other
involved in illegal mining, not only each people or the previous persons aligned to the previous government? That's one problem we've had in this country. As soon as we politicize the issue, implementing it becomes difficult, and we've not been able to fight Galamsey head on because of the unnecessary politicization. I think that government should make a bold decision to prosecute anybody, irrespective of where you belong to. As far as you engage in illegal mining, you should be prosecuted. That's why I have a problem with the letter. The letter should not have even mentioned name. The letter should have given Yoko and other allied institutions the blanket directive or blanket request to go all out to investigate anybody involved in illegal activities, bring the person to Attorney General, let Attorney General prosecute it. Once we start mentioning names, once we start looking at the politics of it, we'll miss the bigger picture. But I can understand also the president wants to make a case that, look, I am also prosecuting one of my own. So anybody who engages in illegal activity, I'm going to prosecute you. But I think that where you belong to, you will be prosecuted. I also think that it should not take only Yoko. In fact, the National Investigation Bureau is on the ground more than Yoko when it comes to agency or an institutional collaboration in this investigation work. We need Yoko. The Minerals Commission even has the Inspectorate Department. We also have the NIB on the ground from national to the district level. So they should work hand in hand with Yoko to be able to get this thing done. I think that it is about time we depoliticize the fight against corruption. We should not mention names. We should go all out. If we think that persons aligned to the current government are engaged in illegal mining, we should deal with them. If we think persons affiliated to the previous government are engaged in illegal mining, we should deal with them. If we think people who are not aligned to any of the political parties engage in illegal mining, we should deal with them. That should be the message to be sent out there. But that notwithstanding, it is a step in the right direction. I think we should move very fast on it. Declaring it as a national emergency is not bad. I don't know how different is that one from a state of emergency declaration provided for under Article 21 of our Constitution. But it is long overdue for us to declare Galamsey as a national emergency. And I also think that we should not look at small-scale mining only when it comes to Galamsey. There are some people who are engaging in large-scale mining, but they also do illegal mining when they are out of their concessions, when they are using all kinds of illegal mining practices, when they have license to do safe mining under large-scale mining. So we should look at all of that. But I think the fight must continue. But I need to mention here that even when we fight, even when we want to prosecute them, we should find an alternative means of getting these people another thing to do. Because you can fight, you can push them to the wall. When you push them to the wall, what is the alternative? As a country, we need a 360-degree approach to the fight against illegal mining. Help them to do safe mining, help them to land into or do other things, and then you'll be able to benefit. Because as a country, we cannot ban mining. What we are against is illegal mining. But how do we turn illegal mining into legal mining so that the national economy will benefit from the activities of these legal miners? That is the big question we need to answer.
Big question we need to answer. Thank you very much, Doc. Thank you for the time you've spent with us. We really appreciate it. Back in studio, Shamima, I'll give you the last take so we can close.
Leadership, they say, is cause, everything else is effect. It would always seem that the New Patriotic Party, what they are unable to do, they always have problem when someone is doing. Because it took them 8 years, over 5 various actions later to fight Galamsey, for Professor Frimpong Boateng to give us this report that he gave us, pointing hands directly. Frimpong Boateng was a minister of that administration, pointing direct accusatory, fingers at members of the government at the highest level at the presidency. President John Mahama has said even if anyone finds his brother engaged in Galamsey activities, the security agencies must act. And why should you believe what he says? Why should he take him seriously? Take him seriously. Again this morning I said that trust is a verb. Trust can be measured by specific actions that an individual takes. As we speak, in the 7th-month administration of John Dramani Mahama, no minister has come to make, accusations on air that his fights against Galamsey are being frustrated at the highest level. We haven't heard that. You have not seen any accusatory fingers being pointed at members of government at the seat of government engaging in Galamsey. Now, reports have come to the president that there are operations of illegal task force activities going on who go into Galamsey areas and purport to be legal task force. What has he said? He has given the Ghana Police Service the joint task force between the police, military, and then the Forestry Commission to act decisively to clamp down on those illegal task force operators. And the Attorney General's action. Did you ever see such a thing, that it is a work irrespective of who is involved to direct, for the Attorney General to direct EOCO to investigate key members of our party? You think that that is not significant? That is so significant. It's a significant symbolism that any appointment you will become a scapegoat.
1 minute you can talk about the country.
So there is commitment to fight Galamsey. It's a worrisome situation. It's a national emergency. His Excellency has reiterated it. The Ghana Police Service is really on the ground, as we all know it, and they're doing the best. And again, he has cancelled it because he again says that we cannot say Ghanaians should tighten our belts whilst we are feeding fat. We cannot say that Ghanaians should make sacrifices. Ghanaians should embrace some of the discomfort that will come from the reset agenda, where we need to mobilize resources to invest in our social sector, where we need to mobilize resources to defray debilitating debts that the previous administration left for us. The debts of despondency that we found ourselves, where pensioners suffered, where you as a worker suffered. And to do that, we need to mobilize resources. How do we do it? We need to use the resources we have more prudently. We must make the necessary savings. So when I come to you and say that pay 1 CD extra from your pocket to help stabilize the state of Ghana, what did he do? He said he was going to run a lean and efficient government. 60 ministers is what we have. And even that he worked with 56 until recently, where he appointed the 4. Right. What did he also do? He says that all of us appointees, we must contribute a month of our salary into the Mahama Care program. What did he do? He says that no DSTV subscription. You might see them as tiny drops. It is the tiny symbolic drops that renews the mindset. So now we all know that it is not business as usual. My brother, when you make a budget for an activity at the presidency, know that you're going to get not more than 25% of what you're budgeted for. You know what it does to you. You now go back, you think through, and you make sure that only the essential items get on that budget. And that is exactly what she would love.
Thank you for we are run out of time. It is not your fuel that has been reduced. It is the fuel. The person suffering it says she's happy. What comment again?
Is the government really wants to help? Reforming Article 71 would help.
Right.
Well,
I understand that the president lost a cousin yesterday.
Yes, and so we would like to extend our deepest condolences to the family of the president.
What's the name of the president?
Malik
Dramani Mahama.
Yesterday he was buried, and we wish him a safe journey to the bosom of his maker.
Right.
And our deepest condolence to the President of the Republic and the family.
Thank you.
Our condolences to the
president. Our condolences to the president and the Dramani Mahama family. Thank you very much, Shamima, for your time here. Thank you, Isaac, for your time. Thank you also to Musa Dankwa and to Dr. Osai, who joined us online. We will be crossing over to